Where is textile design in Portugal? Interlace the Past to Weave the Future, by Sonia Seixas, Johnny Montagna, and Maria João Felix from Portugal, with special acknowledgement to FCT, CIAUD, and Lisbon School of Architecture from Universidade de Lisboa. The purpose of this paper is to reflect on the scenery of higher education in textile design in Portugal and the challenges of the sector. The textile and clothing industry are one of the oldest in Portugal and still one of the largest and most important national industries. In November 2021, this industry has increased its export volume by 16% compared to November 2019, representing an export value of €5.4 million, highlighting the importance that this industry has for weaving the Portuguese social and economic. Despite its positive balance, the textile industry is in a process of change. It is heavily criticized for its less positive impact on the environment and the amount of waste produced. It is imperative that circular economy, digitalization, and decarbonization practices are incorporated into this industry. There is an urgent need to reflect and improve industrial production processes to promote the sustainability of the planet and therefore of human being, by adopting more sustainable practices for this industry. Textile designers can play a key role in building a new strategy by incorporating circular economy concerns into the creative process and promoting a new mindset and attitude throughout the value chain. The choice of raw materials and processes determines the environmental and economic impact of textile products on the product life cycle, from durability, repairability, reusability, biodegradability, and recycling. Given the urgency of today's environmental, economic, cultural, ethical, and social challenges, it is time to reflect on the mission of design practice. It is also important to rethink the pedagogy to meet these challenges by training designers with sustainability, circular economy, digitalization, and society skills. The textile industry was established in Portugal in 1836, telling a long history. In 2019, this industry was responsible for about 10% of national exports, 19% of manufacturing employment, and 8% of the volume of business, making it significant to the Portuguese economy. The Portuguese textile industry began its industrialization process at the end of the 18th century and was associated with the Industrial Revolution. In the last quarter of the 19th century, the national textile industry was already organized in an industrial system, and industrial schools were founded to teach the textile art. At the beginning of the 20th century, the cotton industry became the most important economic factor in the national economy. In the 1960s, the Portuguese economy opened up to liberalized European markets. In the 1970s and 1980s, the textile industry developed its activities due to geographical proximity and cultural affinity, and in the late 1980s the sector was modernized. In the 1990s, the globalization of markets set in, forcing companies to become more competitive at all levels, nationally and internationally. Looking to the future, the sector faces new challenges with the digital economy, sustainability, circular economy, and decarbonization at the forefront. The first attempts to train qualified industrial workers occurred as early as 1836. But it was not until 1852 that industrial education was officially introduced. In 1844, two industrial schools were founded to teach the textile arts: Marquês de Pombal Industrial School in Lisboa, and Campos Melo Industrial and Commercial School in Covilhã. Between 1916 and 1918, the reform of industrial technical education emerged, linking secondary education to three types of schools: industrial schools for the training of skilled workers, applied art schools for specialized training in the industrial arts, and arts and crafts schools for empirically trained workers and craftsmen receiving basic training. In 1940, technical professional education was introduced. And in the field of design, instruction took place in two technical and professional schools, Soares dos Reis School in Porto, and Antonio Arroyo School in Lisboa. In 1969 was born the first Portuguese school focused on the specific and advanced education of design. In 1975 the first undergraduate course in textile engineering was established at the University of Minho, and in 1991 in fashion design at the Faculty of Architecture of the Universidade de Lisboa, which started in 1992. In 1980, the inseparable relationship between product, production, and design emerged in Portugal and vocational training centers were created. In the last decade of the 20th century, a proliferation of schools in the field of fashion and textile design emerged across the country. In Portugal, higher education for textile and fashion design at the undergraduate degree level includes 6 proposals, 4 of which are public and 2 private. Only one higher education institution integrates the designation textile in its educational offer, the course in Fashion and Textile Design of the Higher School of Applied Arts, Castelo Branco Polytechnic Institute. All institutions include in their study plans curricular units that deal with the universe of textile design, whether in terms of materials, laboratory, studio, or project. ISART is the higher education institution that integrates a greater relevance of curricular units approaching the universe of textile design with 31.67%, followed by UMinho with 25%, UBI with 24.17%, ECADI with 8.33%, FAL with 5.83%, and finally, ISAD with 5%. However, none of the existing offerings are specifically specialized in textile design. All existing offerings deal with fashion design in parallel. In May 2021, interviews with sector professionals were conducted to understand what key skills the textile designer must possess to practice their profession. The results allowed us to conclude that the textile designer must integrate a set of multidisciplinary knowledge, from those inherent in the universe of design to the more technical ones listed in the textile industry, and knowledge in management and entrepreneurship. Soft skills are fundamental to teamwork, because design is not an isolated activity, but a collaborative, multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, and transdisciplinary activity. Interviewees pointed out the importance of these professionals having practical knowledge, knowing how to do it, to put into practice the knowledge acquired in academia in a real environment with concrete challenges, to better understand the application of concepts in an industrial environment. Education in the 21st century is in a transition process, and it is important to include pedagogical practices that address different areas of knowledge and integrate transversal fields such as sustainability, circular economy, and digitalization in a multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary vision. The problems are proving to be more complex, and the designer can play a more active role and contribute to significant changes in society in the development of objects and changing consumer behavior. Textile designers can control, or partially control, the selection of materials and production methods of textile products in close collaboration with the different actors involved in the process, and contribute to replace harmful processes and materials for the benefit of human being and the planet. Textile design education should provide practical and academic knowledge to make the creative process more holistic by integrating research, theory and practice in a real-world context. The textile industry is in a process of change, which includes the keywords sustainability, circular economy, digitalization, and decarbonization. Textile product is a complex process that involves several stages and requires continuous thinking. There is an urgent need to restructure the production processes and the practices for developing textile products, taking into account the entire production chain to protect the planet and human being. In Portugal, the offers of undergraduate degree level meet the needs of the fashion and clothing industry, but that the response to the needs of the textile industry in the preparation and training of textile designers is proving to be reductive. Academia should play a more active role in preparing these professionals to help the textile industry address new and future problems that are proving to be increasingly complex. Designing a curricula focused on textile design fills an existing gap in the educational offer to collaborate with the different actors in the value chain in finding solutions to complex problems, which is a 21st century concern. A multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary approach with its different knowledge to respond to emerging challenges and build a new strategic positioning for this industry, promoting a new mindset and attitude throughout the value chain. As a future study, we intend to continue this analysis to understand what kind of curricula should be developed and proposed to train textile designers to use their knowledge for the textile industry and face the new challenges to create a textile economy of the future that guarantees the socio-environmental well-being of human being and the planet. For this, it is necessary to begin to delicately weave a curricula based on the weaves of knowledge. Thank you.